This thing stopped now. Testing out some stuff here. Hello, hello. Can who's live? Everybody hear me? Let's see. Drop a comment if you can hear me. Hope all is well. Everybody watching in studio, going live. Hold on one second. Let's see. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another live edition. I hope you can hear me. I hope you can see me. Got some new toys I'm just testing out, actually. The main reason I'm live today. So, yeah, hope all is going well. Let's talk marketing and business. So I just want to do a little bit of an episode. I want to go a little bit. I always say I want to go more live, but I actually now mean it. I'm going to be a bit more consistent with my lives. That's my promise to everybody watching and listening. And I think from my point of view, it's something that I love doing. It's just making the actual time to sit and have conversations with everyone and picking a time that works for everyone. So I'm going to test out a few times and see what works best. And then we'll see how it goes. So, yeah, I think from my side, I hope everybody is doing amazingly well. If you have any questions for me, marketing, business related questions, please feel free to drop them in the comment box wherever you're watching. If you're watching on YouTube or Facebook, LinkedIn, would love to hear from you. I really would. And can answer some potential questions, add some value, and also just maybe unpack what's happening in the world of marketing. And AI, like AI is now part of marketing more than anything. And there's so many things happening in AI. I'm subscribed to this Telegram group, and like every single day, there's just updates of new things happening, which is crazy. It is moving so fast, it's actually ridiculous. So that said, talk about a few things that's happening in the AI world and how you can leverage it as a marketer and as a business owner to make your life a little bit easier. Cool. So Armando, nice to see you, my friend. Hope you're doing well. Jandre, what should I spend on marketing as a car sales executive to see results? So Armando, depends on the platform as well. All platforms are different, as you might know. I think Meta is probably still the best place to run ads for cars. And yeah, we've got a few auto dealerships in the agency. I'm not operationally involved, but I do just look at some stats every now and then, just out of curiosity. And there's a lot of data that comes through. And from my point of view, Meta is still a great platform to generate leads for cars. Anybody in the auto space. So, I mean, you can look at lead form ads. Lead form ads are great. And that's probably the easiest and cheapest way to get some leads. And then it's just a matter of how you nurture those leads. So maybe as a car sales executive, Armando, can you give me a bit more context? I see you said, yeah, I don't want to use the dealership cookie cutter flyers. Yeah, so Meta ads will be great. And you can run Meta ads, I'd say probably at like $200 a day or $100 a day. And I'm not saying you're going to get a lead every single day, but I do believe that you will be able to have an affordable lead cost. And then it's up to you to get and respond to that lead immediately, as quickly as possible. And I mean, literally phoning them, WhatsApping them, emailing them, etc., and finding out what exactly they want and how you can help. So from my point of view, that is really the best way to go about it, is Meta ads. If you have more budget, you can always build a landing page and or drive people straight to the site. But if you're working for the company, then that's going to be potentially a bit harder to do. Like, you can't drive ads to their site because the leads will probably just be filtered into the whole CRM. So if it's Facebook Meta lead form ads, at least you can make sure that it comes straight to you, which is pretty cool. So you're going to have a bit more control over those leads at the end of the day. And then I think it's a matter of, like I said, following up as quickly as possible. You get a lot of leads that are not qualified, and that's very normal. Like, that's 100% normal. Just to put things in perspective, right? In our agency, we get about 200 leads a month, and we only probably onboard or sign, I'd say 10 clients, if that many. So I'd say 10 probably. So now it's just always a situation of a numbers game. Generating leads is just a numbers game. It's what it is, how it is, and you can't escape it. You can obviously build in mechanisms and automations and if statements that can filter good leads from unqualified leads. So asking specific questions that can make sure that the actual lead that you're speaking to is someone that you're spending your time on. So for example, if you had to run $300, $400, $500 a day on meta ads, which is, I mean, 15 grand a month, it's quite a big amount for someone who's just doing it for themselves. It's not doesn't own a company. That's just a sales executive. But hypothetically, if that was what you were spending, then you're going to get a lot of leads, and a lot of those leads will be unqualified. And it's up to you to make sure that you have certain processes in place to help you dedicate the right time to the people who's actually more qualified and ready to buy. And you can ask specific questions. What type of car, what type of budget they might be looking at. You could potentially ask things like what kind of year models they're looking at. All of these will be indications, how ready they are to buy. Some people are just browsing. So you can kind of like gauge interest by just saying, how interested are you? If you had to find the right car tomorrow, are you ready to buy, or are you going to wait a few weeks? Most people will probably say a few weeks. So there are people who are ready to buy, and it's just about speaking to them when you can. So yeah, I mean, I'm trying to kind of like give you my best take on this question with very limited information. A lot of people are under debt review, and that's normal, right? So it's like just up to you in order to generate leads at scale, so that if you generate 100 leads, that 2 are ready to buy. And then it's re-engineering the process for yourself and asking yourself, cool, how many leads do I need in order to close, a certain amount? You say here, my goal is to sell 10 to 15 close 10 to 15 deals a month. So hypothetically, if you had to run ads and you got 100 leads and 5 of them converted into a deal, then technically you need double that amount of leads in order to get 10. You know what I'm saying? And this is how you can start to actually get KPIs and metrics that you can actually use to optimize your sales process. And a lot of people just don't do this. They just throw money at ads, get some shitty leads back, and then they go, this doesn't work for me. But it's the people who actually spend the time figuring out how to optimize the actual ad, how to optimize the actual qualification process, how to tweak the ad to target more qualified buyers, etc., who end up winning. So it's like anything in life. Like in the beginning, you're going to suck at it, and it's going to feel like a waste of money. But the more you do it, the better you're going to get. And that's literally how I started my first business at the age of 21. It was Facebook ads. And back then, Facebook ads only allowed you to run page-like ads. And I sucked at that even. And I had 1,000 Rand disposable income. Didn't know how to go about it, how to spend it. And then I was like, let me spend it on Facebook ads and see what happens. That was in 2011. So I haven't met anybody who's run ads before that, to be honest. But I loved it. And I just geeked out on it. And even though I was wasting money in the beginning, which I didn't have money to waste. My disposable income was like $1,000 a month. And I spent that on ads. The first month I spent $1,000 and got not very much back for it. And then I got better and better and better. And eventually I was paying 20 cents a like, which back then was ridiculous because every time I posted, I got like 20,000 people seeing my post. It was 30%, 40, 50% of my audience seeing what I had to say. So the moment I had 100,000 people, every time I posted, 50,000 people saw what I had to say. And it's all because I figured out how to grow the actual followers of that page. And I drove them to a website. So my point is just like, don't give up on it and just continue figuring it out. One guy spends 30K a month. For every 2K he spends, he gets a sale and he sells about 20. There we go. So, I mean, I sent 15,000 Rand earlier. So I'm not far off in terms of starting. Like, I think you're going to have to probably spend, like, I'll start with $100 a day. I don't know how conservative you are with your actual budget at the moment, but I would say $100 a day, give it a shot, see what happens, and optimize from there and scale accordingly from there. Slowly but surely. Slowly but surely. Cool. Then let's see. I think from my side, I'm just thinking what else I can say. Like, definitely Meta lead form ads is the best place to start. Like, even if you had to build a funnel, like nobody's gonna want to opt in for a sales unless they wanted a consultant to help them figure out what car they actually need to buy. I don't know. I think I would start with lead form ads. I'm trying to outweigh WhatsApp ads could also work, but then you have to automate the conversation through WhatsApp in order to qualify the lead, where a form can do that almost instantly for you. But again, at the same time, the WhatsApp conversation itself builds and carries so much trust and credibility. So that person might not convert today, but maybe at some point when they are ready, they're happy to talk to you because they trust you. So I am someone, when I buy a car, like I want to go to someone I trust. So I either go to the dealership and hope that there is someone that can help me, the dealership that I've been to many times, or I have an ex-client who actually had a few dealerships, and I'll be like, hey, I'm looking for a car like this. Can you help me? So it's almost like just building up an actual customer list of people who will reach out to you the next time they probably want to buy something, as well. And teaching people what to look for when it comes to buying cars. I think you can, with Meta lead form ads, you can run ads, collect those emails and contact numbers, and send emails to people about what to look for when it comes to buying cars, and maybe even do some car reviews into that email list and shit like that. I don't know. I think that could be pretty cool. Famous mama, more. What can I do more of, famous mama? Tell me, what questions do you have for me? How can I help? Please feel free to ask any business or marketing related questions, or just any question for that matter. I mean, I can always give it a shot. We don't have to stay too much on topic. This is just for fun. So let me know if you've got any questions. How's Plush doing? I actually don't know. I'll have to chat to Vickers. The last time I checked, we expanded the team, and I think we got 2 vehicles now. Got about 3 or 4 teams. So yeah, I think I don't know. I mean, I don't know how to answer that question without giving anything away, but it's going well. I think so, because I think it was 2 months ago. We got a new vehicle, expanded the team a little bit, and winter months are usually a bit slower, but we made it work through some creative offers, creative strategy, etc. And yeah, grateful for that. A very cool business. I mean, it's not something that's going to make you a millionaire overnight, but slow and steady wins the race. And the people are always going to want to clean their carpets, their rugs, their mattresses, and their curtains. So it's just making sure that you are the one that they think of when they want to do that. It's pretty cool. No, laugh myself. It's not in Afrikaans more. Ek kan Afrikaans praat, maar ek weet nie of dit almal gaan help nie. Hope that helps. Are there any real businesses that don't require a capital? Yeah, service business like a marketing agency doesn't require capital. Like I started V8 Media in 2018 with I think it was 20,000 Rand savings, 20 or 30,000 Rand savings. And to be frank, I didn't spend a lot of that money on finding my first clients because there's so many free ways to find clients. So starting to help other people with their marketing is one thing that you can do if that's a skill that you have. And it wouldn't require too much upfront cost. Consultant doesn't require upfront cost. Being a virtual assistant doesn't require upfront cost. because someone has to pay you first before you pay the actual assistant. I mean, so service businesses are usually businesses that require fewer capital, less capital. It's the right way, sorry. So they require less capital in order to get started and off the ground and growing. So service businesses, I mean, even plush cleaning, I think we only invested like 50 to 80,000 Rand, 50,000, I think, max. We had 2 machines and we basically started cleaning people's houses. We did spend 5 grand on Facebook. So obviously it required capital, but the amount of capital was very little. So if you had to think a direct to consumer business, if you had to create products, you're going to require a lot more capital because you have to buy products at a minimum order quantity. Okay. And that minimum order quantity is not always financially attractive, always feasible. So the biggest expense for any business is always going to be marketing, in my opinion. That's if you target consumers. If you target businesses, then other businesses, then there are ways to save cost on outreach. There are many free email tools and LinkedIn DM tools, and you can just pick up the phone and call. I mean, to have a phone contract these days, you can get some good deals. Melon Mobile, for example, you get $5.99 a month, and you get unlimited minutes and 50 gigs of data or something. So the quickest way to get business, if you're in the business to business space, is just to start cold calling. But yeah, I think depending on the business, most businesses require capital, but I think service businesses require less capital. And there are some services that don't require any capital, like consultants and graphic design, website design, marketing, etc. Hope that helps. Let me know if there's any other questions around that. Have you guys thought about marketing products for men, similar to Glute, like Ball deodorant, similar to what Happy Nuts is doing? Yeah, not really. Like, I mean, there's so many different ideas out there. We like to focus on the industries that we have really good network and partners in. So we've gotten a bit more strategic with our investments, if I may say that. It's like, when in the beginning, every business looked like a great business to invest in. And then you realize that's not the case. And then you realize it's really important to be strategic with where you put your money, and you want to obviously mitigate the risk of spending that money. And how you mitigate it is to ensure that you actually have the right people to push that business forward, and that those people could be not just the founder himself that you're investing in, but also the resources of the agency, for example. So we have more control over the marketing and how the marketing gets spent. The money of the marketing gets spent. So we have a high probability of seeing a return on that money. And at the same time, we have a strong network in the health and beauty space. So if we invest in health and beauty businesses, then we can leverage our network in order to increase probability of success. So it's not just about investing in ideas. Every idea is a good idea if you have the right resources to execute on it. So an idea is only good if it matches the actual resources, skills, and leverage that you've built up for yourself, if that makes sense. So in that case, I mean, it is something we haven't really thought about. If there's a business that's doing well, that's profitable, and that needs investment, put us in touch with them. Maybe we can do something. But starting businesses from zero is hard, man. I think, Glute, we started from zero. Sentimental, we started from zero. Plush, we started from zero. We actually at a point now where, when I say zero, it's like they were doing very small numbers, if any. So yeah, I think we're also at a point from an investment standpoint where we prefer to invest in businesses that are already making profit, or at least have product market fit, and then we can just take it further. I mean, this is just the journey of investment, right? Like in the beginning, you don't have the capital to buy those kind of businesses. So you have to kind of start from scratch, or buy into a business that just started. And then you can get a bit more strategic down the line. So thoughts on info products? I mean, info products are great, but it's super saturated. Henry, my friend, we've had a few engagements. I hope you're well. So info products are great. It's just it's super saturated, man. One thing I've learned about info products is that people don't buy the information for the information. They buy the person behind the information. So the trust and credibility lies in the actual person selling the information. as opposed to the information itself. So people buy, when it comes to coaching specifically, info products is usually related to coaching, and people buy into the actual coach for who they are as a human being and what they've achieved in their life. So to build an info product business that doesn't have that element usually requires a lot more capital and a lot more resources in order to see success. Now, there are faceless companies selling millions of rands worth of informational products. But some of those companies actually sell accredited courses, for example, or it might be an actual diploma, certificate, or degree. So if you're just teaching people how to do things, 90% of the time it comes down to who's actually selling the information. So you would have to position yourself in the market as that person who actually have the authority to give advice on the topic. And then more people will actually buy into you and the cost of your acquisition will be less. And the problem now with ChatGPT is, with AI, is that information is becoming just a complete commodity. Now, people are still lazy. Trust me, people are still very lazy and they don't want to do the work. They just want to see the steps and then have someone do the steps for them. It's a minority of people who see the steps and actually execute themselves. But because of the easy access to information, I almost feel like anybody in the info product space will have naturally more competition because people will naturally gravitate towards something that's free and try and do that first, especially consumers in South Africa because of the economic climate we're in, is that people would rather want to save their money. If you're selling a product for, let's say, $5,000 and it's a course, then most people will probably try ChatGPT first and see what advice it's going to give them. ChatGPT was never there. And ChatGPT now curates and contextualizes information, and you can actually have, from 2023, proper conversations with it around a specific topic, and it can listen to the nuances and give you the best advice based on your perspective and based on your resources and etc. Where Google never did that. Google just gave you a straight 10 articles that you can, well, hundreds of articles, but on the page, 10 articles that you can go through that would be seen as more authoritative than the other articles. And then you would have to contextualize it for yourself, which required a lot of emotional bandwidth. But today, AI does all of that for you, and all you have to do is just follow the steps. So in a way, info products are going to become more and more competitive, in my opinion. Any ideas that pop into your mind for an Indian market? I assume curry is very saturated. I don't know. I think I can't really comment on that. I don't know. Skincare is big at the moment in India. Beauty is big everywhere, but for some reason, the Indian market is just loving beauty products right now. So if you are in the Indian market, are you going to say Indian market? Do you mean Indian market in South Africa or the actual Indian market, like the actual country, people in the country? Because people in the actual country, India, are loving beauty products right now, and it's selling like hotcakes. So there's my 2 cents. Famous mama tell me in the small businesses, in the small business that I have, small aesthetic salon, I need to do all that I can to get from being self-employed to managing staff. I've practically lost all my money on my last investment. So I'm assuming you're asking on how to free yourself up and get the business to run on it almost like by itself a little bit. Let me get some further context from you. Yeah. I've invested in my mom real estate business, and she had a stroke and she too unwell to ever see a return. Now I have to start up again. Which way forward is best? Sure. I mean, laser clinics is probably a bit easier than real estate because if you're in a good location, you can run ads and get people through the door, which is pretty cool. We used to have a laser clinic. We don't really invest in local businesses anymore just because of the levels of scale requires too much capital and too much risk. So we're quite risk averse. So like anybody would probably be. So for us, we don't invest in local business anymore, but we did generate a lot of leads and it can be very profitable if you do it correctly through meta ads for the actual salon. and for the actual clinic. So I don't know what kind of treatments you do, but what I would do is put an offer into the market, like 30% off, 25% off on a specific treatment. Go onto Canva, create some creatives, make it pretty, make it stand out, maybe even do a video and run that in a 5 to 10 kilometer radius and get people to book with your clinic. Just run normal lead forms at first, phone and WhatsApp them to make a booking, make sure that someone phones them to follow up, to ensure that they actually show up for the booking, and see how that goes. That's what I would do. I think purely because of the fact that that's something we have done many times as an agency. We've worked with many, many beauty salons, and you can do it very profitably. And yeah, so that would be my take. Real estate can also be done, but it's a bit more saturated. So you're going to have to push for sole mandates, and therefore you're going to need maybe some reputation in the market to justify that. You're going to need to learn how to speak to people in order to get them to give you that sole mandate, because if you don't have a sole mandate, it just gets so competitive. But you can generate leads quite affordably on Meta for the real estate industry. It's just whether you know how to psychologically speak to that audience and to that customer on the other side in order to service them best and get them to understand that you're the best potential solution for them. So in essence, go with what you feel most comfortable and go with where you feel like you understand the consumers better. Because when you naturally understand the consumers better, you will be able to market the business better, which means you've got a higher likelihood of success. Hope that helps. Markets here. Oh, my cameras are down. Hold on. Not sure what happened. Not sure what happened there. We'll figure it out. Still learning all this new equipment, but anyway. Boss content as always. Thanks, my brother. Appreciate it. Means the world. Yeah, we had a lacquer half an hour so far. I hope there's value in it for you, listening, watching. If there's any questions, let me know. I'm here to share a perspective and hopefully add some value and just have a conversation. I want to use some time to dive into some latest news in the AI space. So things have gotten quite a bit out of hand over the last few months since VEO3 has been released. I wonder if there's anybody using VEO3 in their marketing. I mean, if you're not, you definitely should. You can do so much with it these days. It's actually incredible. So I'm just actually looking back here, how far I want to go back. So this is a pretty cool tool that I found recently, and I think everybody should use it. I'm going to quickly share my screen. Share screen. So here is a tool that's called PromptTester. Now, everybody is using AI these days, right? But the thing is, are you using AI correctly? Like, we know that AI output is a result of the input. And what I mean by that is that it's actually just dependent on how well you're asking the AI to assist you. And from my point of view, this is a pretty cool tool to help you understand if your prompt is actually efficient. So PromptTester, just Google it, check it out. Because if you, the next time, like a lot of people say, like, AI is not for me. Yeah, because you prompt terribly. It hasn't allowed, you're not giving it the actual juice it needs in order to give you the right information or the right practical steps or just add value to the actual problem that you have. So my take is learn how to prompt better. And if you don't know, There are many there's many things that you can buy now, prompt templates and stuff like that, which is probably not bad. I mean, we've got a bunch of those, and there's some value in it. But I think the best thing that you can do is just use something like PromptTester, which actually gives you an indication of whether your prompt is actually sufficient or not. And you can then enhance the prompt. So it's then going to ask you questions, and you're going to reply to those questions, and then the actual prompt will get better and better and better. And then you can take that to the AI and get a better result. So for anybody who feels like they're not getting the best results from AI, check out PromptTester. I think that's very cool, and there'll be a lot of value in it for you. Cool. Let's I don't know if anybody has played around with before we get to that, actually. So check out this. So here's a prompt that you can use for VO3 that will help you. Hold on. I'm going to share the right screen here. So here's an actual prompt you can use that will give you this kind of ad. So this was an actual ad that was used in a marketing campaign. I'm going to show you now in a second. And this is the prompt that you can use. So I can drop the actual prompt in here for those interested in using it in VO3. Oh, I can't drop the whole prompt in here. Maybe I can just share the link. Let me do that in the. So there's a link coming in the actual chat wherever you are. And check out this result. This was pretty crazy. Let me share my screen again. I'm going to share my entire screen. That's probably just going to be easier, to be honest with you. Can you guys see my? Yeah, you can. So check this video. How mad is this? How mad is that? That prompt will create a video like that. Crazy. Crazy. So, yeah, it's just getting so cool, man. Let me stop sharing. I don't know if you guys, if anybody has tried to use an app building tool. There's Lovable and Bolt. And we've used both. And we actually built literally a little side hustle. I don't want to give the name away. But we sat in the, literally in the, we were having like a coffee as a team. Everybody, like a few people were in the office, and we were having a coffee. And we came up with an idea just out of nowhere. And a week later, we had a functioning app, ads ready to go, and we launched campaigns for the actual business. All in a week. And we would have never been able to do that if it wasn't for AI. And the actual tool that you want to look into is called Bolt.new and Lovable. It's nothing new for people who do love AI and follow the news. But if you are someone who is still learning, finding your feet in what's happening in the world, and you have a bunch of ideas, then Lovable and Bolt is going to add a lot of value to your life, like it has done to ours. So that's just my take on that. I think you're going to find a lot of value. So just Google Bolt.new AI app building tool, whatever you want to Google, you'll find it. And the other one is called Lovable. Really cool tools. We literally came up with an idea. A week later, we had a website. We had a back end programmed. We literally had everything we needed, ads live, everything. And we're generating leads for that business for the last 2 weeks now. That was actually just a fun project. Now it's actually got a bit of potential. So, guys, let me know if you have any other questions. It's time for me to head out. I just actually joined today to test some equipment, and we've got some new toys in the studio that I'm testing out. You can see that I can switch screens now, which is pretty cool. Ta-da-da-da. And yeah, I thought I'll jump on and see who's available for a conversation. It was really lucky to, one, test everything. Looks like everything is working, number one. Number two, was lucky to engage with a few of you. And also a bit last minute spontaneous, but it was fun. I hope you had fun too. I hope there was value in it for you. I'm going to head off. Thank you so much for your time. Much love. And yeah, I'm going to be doing this more regularly. So stay tuned. Much love. Have a good one. Bye.